found a dead Maltese frozen. I don't even want to get into all the ugliness of it. I just want to see a business that's run based on some compassion for some animals, not these purchasing from puppy mills. I just don't think that there's any room in the city for that. We have to take a stand somewhere, and I think this is where we do it. We've been discussing it for the last 3 commission cycles, and if you haven't heard of it, I'm surprised. You live in or you work in Oakland Park. You have a place in Oakland Park here. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to move this item as it's written. And I don't know if I additionally need to say that I'd like to have it based on the 90-day as we had agreed on the last commission.
The ordinance before you includes 90 for 3 months.
I'd like to move that we vote on it as is.
Okay. I'll second the motion and continue the discussion. Commissioner? Thank you. I think there's a couple of clarifications that I think are really important in this situation. As one of the speakers said, this isn't about closing a business. This is about protecting animals, and that is a responsibility of the city. If this business chooses to operate in a certain way, then, as we've also heard, they can adopt and adapt to the changes. I'm sort of contemplating, I have a couple of questions that I think could help all of us understand things, and I'm struggling with whether or not to invite the owner of the property that has identified in the city to ask a few questions of some of my understanding of the facts. Would the commission be welcome to some questions of the business owner? Or the city attorney?
It's not a quasi-judicial proceeding, but if you wish to seek some clarification and either the owner or his counsel or her counsel wishes to address your issues, they can. They're not obligated to.
Okay. Does the commission have any objection there?
No, Commissioner, if you're seeking additional clarification and something that you would like, I can support that.
Well, and I think that there's other commissioners who perhaps wanted some more time, and maybe if we take a few more extra minutes here, we could learn a few things. If I could ask the business owner to come forward. Thank you. It was referenced that you own another store. Is it true that you own Wizard of Claws?
Yes, correct.
And is it true that you were sued?
Yes, I had by the State Attorney General's office, and there was motivated by Humane Society, but Wild and Cops. It was correct.
If I understand correctly, it wasn't the Humane Society that initiated that lawsuit, was it?
The initial with the Wild and Cops, correct.
Okay, thank you. Do I understand that there was a complaint of fraud? Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say it was a complaint of fraud. It was the major part of the complaint. Both complaints were.
If you can speak into the microphone, please.
Both complaints were identical. It was started by a class action, which was backed by the Humane Society. Ultimately, a second lawsuit, which was identical to that one, was brought by the Attorney General's office. The actual allegations were the fact that he was being deceptive in that they were saying that, let's say he said a dog was only going to grow to
into
4
the microphone,
pounds,
please.
was only going to grow to 4 pounds and actually grew to 6. Ultimately, the case dragged on. It went to non-binding arbitration, which we won. They ruled that there was no deception. From that point forward, we then entered into an agreement. both agreements were identical, which not only kept him in business, but which he voluntarily agreed to become monitored by both the law firm and the Attorney General. What he has done and what he's been doing for years is every month he has to drop off at the Attorney General's office as well as the class action law firm office all of his purchases, all of his contracts, every breeder that he purchased from, all of their known reportable type of history. They are then monitored to ensure that he does not buy from puppy mills. I understand what Mr. Sparks said, and I am not saying.
You've answered, I think, my question, thank you.
Either way, and that
Thank you.
case was
I think-
ultimately resolved with him being able to stay in business.
Okay. Is it true that the USDA regulations allow animals to stay in cages their entire lives? I'm asking the business owner. He wanted to inform us and share with us some information.
Well, I'm gonna answer on
Well,
behalf of his attorney if I'm allowed to.
Mr. City Attorney?
Sir, you're gonna need to allow the attorney to speak.
Okay.
You can't dictate who's.
I can tell you, just as a coincidence, I happen to have been representing a young lady in a.
I'm really not sure how this relates.
It directly relates.
I asked a simple yes or no question. Are dogs allowed under USDA regulations to stay in cages their entire life?
No, not their entire life. And if I may answer.
Are
the
they
question,
allowed to go
you go down
outside?
to any humane
Ex-
society
excuse
and
me,
rescue, the
excuse
dogs
me.
remain in cages.
Excuse me,
They
sir.
ship their dogs
All right, I'm gonna
to
stop asking questions then, if you're gonna not
If
let
you don't
me.
want the full answer, don't ask the question.
I
I understand
You've
what you want.
answered
You
my
want to
question.
pigeonhole it and you want to get your thing out. But that's not what this issue is. Unfortunately, it's bigger than pigeonholing.
Mhm.
You know, you can't, one simple little things, I understand the point you're trying to make.
Are dogs required, or are dogs required to have time outside when they're being bred?
When they're being bred, I wouldn't know the answer to that question. Jim, do you know that?
Yeah, I can, yeah,
Sure, go ahead.
yeah. What has happened over the years, and this is very relative to all you folks, and I'm gonna answer your question. In 2009, there were 6,000 USDA licensed facilities. Today, there's under 1,400. And the reason they're under 1,400, because the federal regulations has gotten tighter and tighter and tighter. What happened over I'm gonna answer your question. What happened with the federal regulations, the state now comes in and make stricter rules and regulations. No, dogs don't live on wire cages no more. Yes, they have exercise area. So there's a variety of law changes.
Didn't answer my question yet. There might be an exercise area, but are they required to have time outside of their cage?
Yes, they do. They have expanded areas. Yes, state of Missouri